Laura and Michael Ramsey seemed like an ordinary brother and sister living a quiet suburban life. But when Laura vanished without a trace and Michael disappeared days before, their family's perfect facade shattered, revealing dark secrets lurking just beneath the surface of the Ramsey house. On a cool autumn evening, the Ramsey house sat quietly under the fading light, its windows glowing softly as the family settled in for the night. Inside, 16-year-old Laura Ramsey prepared for bed like any other teenager. She was known around the neighborhood as a bright, cheerful girl with a promising future. Her days were filled with school, friends, and dreams of college, while her nights were spent quietly in her room, reading or listening to music. But this night would be unlike any other. It would mark the beginning of a mystery that no one could have imagined. Laura's family seemed ordinary from the outside. Her father was a businessman, often busy, but proud of his family. Her mother kept the house running smoothly, a woman of few words, but gentle in her ways. Laura's older brother had recently left for college, and though the household was quieter, it still felt like home. But beneath this calm, something was wrong, something hidden. Around midnight, Laura's mother checked on her children before heading to bed. She glanced into Laura's room, noting the open window and the cool breeze fluttering the curtains. Laura's bed was empty. At first, she thought Laura might have slipped downstairs or gone outside to get something, but a quick search of the house showed no sign of her. The front door was locked, windows secure, and no footprints or disturbances outside. Panic began to set in as the minutes passed and Laura was nowhere to be found. The family called the police immediately, and soon the Ramsey house was flooded with officers. Detectives examined every inch of the home, searching for clues. There was no sign of forced entry, no struggle, and no indication of where Laura might have gone. Her phone, wallet, and favorite jacket were all left behind, as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Neighbors were questioned, but no one had seen or heard anything unusual. The neighborhood was tight-knit, and everyone knew the Ramseys as a quiet family. Rumors began to spread quickly. Some wondered if Laura had run away. Others feared the worst. The police held on to hope, but kept a close eye on the family, sensing that the truth might be more complicated than it seemed. Days turned into weeks with no new leads. The local media caught wind of the story, drawing attention far beyond the small community. People began to dig into the Ramsey family's past, looking for answers in their history, their relationships, and their secrets. But the more they searched, the more the family seemed to close off, retreating behind a wall of silence and sorrow. Then, a detective noticed something odd. A faint scent of a perfume lingering in Laura's room, one that didn't match anything she owned. It was a small detail, easy to miss, but it hinted at someone else being there that night. What had Laura discovered? And who had been with her in those final moments? The Ramsey house, once a place of comfort and safety, now felt cold and strange. Behind the doors and windows, secrets were buried deep. Secrets that might explain Laura's disappearance, but could also tear the family apart forever. The search for Laura Ramsey had only just begun, and the mystery surrounding the Ramsey house was far from over. Weeks into the investigation, with no clear leads on Laura's whereabouts, the police decided to take a closer look at the Ramsey house itself. During a careful search of the attic, an officer's flashlight caught the glint of something unusual tucked away in a dusty corner. It was a heavy, old chest, locked tight and covered in layers of cobwebs. The family had never mentioned it, and no one seemed to know what was inside. The discovery raised more questions than answers, but the police knew this chest could hold important clues. When the chest was finally opened, what lay inside surprised everyone. There were dozens of letters, old photographs, and several diaries belonging to members of the Ramsey family. The pages revealed moments of joy and sorrow, but also troubling hints of secrets the family had tried to keep hidden. The perfect image the Ramseys had presented to the world began to crack. One diary belonged to Laura's mother, filled with entries about fear and regret. She wrote about financial troubles that were never spoken of openly, and about arguments that left her feeling isolated. The father, once seen as a pillar of strength, appeared in the diaries as a man burdened by mistakes and growing desperation. Another set of letters hinted at strained relationships between Laura and her brother, and between the parents themselves. There was even mention of a stranger who had visited the house in recent months, though no one knew who this person was or why they came. The photographs in the chest added another layer to the story. Some showed the family smiling at happier times, but others captured moments of tension. Clenched jaws, cold stares, and hands clenched into fists. One picture, in particular, stood out. Laura and her brother standing apart, both looking away from each other, the distance between them almost painful to see. The image seemed to speak of a rift deeper than words. The police pored over these materials, searching for anything that might explain Laura's sudden disappearance. The diaries suggested that tensions had been building beneath the surface for months, maybe even years. Money problems, broken promises, and feelings of betrayal had taken a toll on the family's unity. It seemed possible that Laura had uncovered something she was not meant to know. As investigators dug deeper, they discovered that the stranger mentioned in the letters had connections to the father's failed business ventures. The man was known to have a reputation for shady deals and intimidation. Could this visitor have played a role in Laura's disappearance? And if so, what had the family been hiding to protect themselves? The chest also held a diary written by Laura herself, a rare and heartbreaking find. In it, she expressed fears about the growing distance between her and her family, worries about secrets that made her uncomfortable, and a desperate hope that things would get better. Her last entry was dated just days before she vanished, filled with cryptic lines about feeling watched and not trusting those closest to her. The discovery of the chest changed everything. What started as a missing person case had turned into a dark story of family betrayal, hidden fears, and dangerous secrets. The Ramsey family, once seen as ordinary, was now at the center of a web of mystery that no one could easily untangle. Each new detail uncovered from the chest deepened the suspense. The police knew that to find Laura, they had to understand the true story behind the Ramsey house, a story buried in silence, lies, and heartbreak. The chest was not just a container of old papers. It was a key to unlocking the secrets that might finally explain what had happened to Laura Ramsey. Just days before Laura's disappearance, her older brother, Michael Ramsey, suddenly left town without telling anyone where he was going. His abrupt departure sent ripples through the investigation and the community alike. Michael had always been known as the rebellious member of the family, often pushing boundaries and getting into trouble, but nobody expected him to vanish at such a critical moment. His absence raised countless questions. Was he involved in Laura's disappearance? Was he running away from something deeper within the family? Michael's friends said he had seemed different in the weeks before leaving. He was quieter, more distant, and often avoided talking about his family or his plans. Some recalled overhearing heated arguments between him and his parents, while others suspected he was hiding from trouble related to his father's failing business. Still, no one had a clear idea of what had driven him to disappear. The police immediately tried to track him down, but Michael had covered his tracks well. His phone was switched off, and no one had seen him leave town by car or bus. Authorities checked nearby cities, hospitals, and even neighboring states, but he seemed to have vanished as completely as his sister. The more elusive he became, the more he became a person of interest in the investigation. Behind the closed doors of the Ramsey house, tensions grew. Laura's parents refused to speak openly about Michael's departure, offering only vague explanations to the police. The mother claimed he had needed time to clear his head, while the father insisted that Michael would return soon. But neighbors noticed the once warm household growing colder and more silent. As detectives dug into Michael's past, they uncovered troubling information. Financial records showed that he had recently withdrawn a large sum of money from the family accounts. This was suspicious, especially given the family's ongoing money problems revealed in the attic chest. Why had Michael taken such a drastic step? Was it to escape the family's troubles, or was there something more sinister at play? Further investigation revealed Michael had been involved with a questionable group of acquaintances. Some of these individuals were linked to illegal activities, drug use, petty theft, and even rumors of violence. It was unclear if Michael was a victim of bad influences or if he was involved willingly. Either way, it complicated the picture and raised fears that Laura's disappearance could be connected to these dangerous associations. One of the most chilling discoveries came when the police found messages on Michael's phone from a mysterious contact known only as R. These texts hinted at secret meetings and warnings to stay silent. The identity of R was unknown, but the cryptic messages suggested that Michael had stumbled into something he could neither control nor escape. In the days after Michael's disappearance, some neighbors reported seeing a strange man lurking near the Ramsey house. Descriptions matched the shadowy figure mentioned in the letters found in the attic chest. Could this visitor have been involved with Michael's sudden flight? Was this man connected to the darker secrets hidden within the family? Michael's disappearance added a heavy weight to an already complex case. With both siblings gone and the family fractured, the Ramsey house felt more like a cage of secrets than a home. The search for Michael became urgent, not just to find him, but to uncover the truth behind the Ramsey family's unraveling. What had driven him away? And how was his fate tied to Laura's mysterious vanishing? As the investigation deepened, it became clear that Michael's story was more than a simple disappearance. It was a key piece of a puzzle filled with betrayal, fear, and danger. A puzzle that no one outside the Ramsey house had yet dared to solve. As detectives continued their search for answers, a breakthrough came from an unexpected place. The attic chest. Among the old letters and diaries was a worn map marked with strange symbols and notes in a hurried hand. It seemed to point to a hidden part of the Ramsey property that no one had ever mentioned before. Following the map carefully, officers discovered a concealed trapdoor beneath an old rug in the corner of the attic. Opening the trapdoor revealed a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. Flashlights flickered as the team descended into a small hidden basement. The room was filled with dust and forgotten belongings, but what caught the investigators' attention were the rows of electronic equipment, cameras, monitors, and recording devices. It was a secret surveillance center, a place where someone had been watching and listening to every corner of the house. The footage found on the tapes was chilling. It captured moments that the family would never want anyone else to see. Private arguments, whispered threats, and meetings with mysterious visitors in the dead of night. Laura appeared in many clips, often looking tense or frightened. In some recordings, she was shown confronting her family members, clearly upset about something she had discovered. It was clear that she had been caught in the middle of something dangerous. The surveillance room revealed a darker side of the Ramsey household. The family was not just hiding personal troubles, but was involved in activities that required secrecy and control. The presence of hidden cameras suggested a deep mistrust among them, as if everyone was watching everyone else, waiting for a mistake or betrayal. The recordings showed Laura's father meeting with a shadowy figure multiple times. Their conversations were hushed, and the man's face was never fully visible. These meetings hinted at involvement in illegal dealings or threats that the family feared. The police began to suspect that Laura had learned too much about these dealings, and that her disappearance was connected to what she had uncovered. The footage also revealed the strained relationship between Laura and her brother Michael. Insert one clip, they argued fiercely, with Michael warning Laura to stay quiet. The tension was so intense that it seemed as though the siblings were on opposite sides of a dangerous divide. This new evidence made investigators question Michael's role even more deeply. Was he protecting the family's secrets, or was he part of the problem? Among the tapes, one showed Laura entering the basement on her own, carrying a small notebook. She appeared to be searching for something, but the recording abruptly ended before revealing what she found. This incomplete scene raised fears that Laura had been close to uncovering something that someone desperately wanted to keep hidden. The secret basement itself was a symbol of the Ramsey family's hidden life, a place beneath their everyday existence where truth was buried under layers of fear and deception. The police now understood that to find Laura and solve the mystery, they needed to unravel the tangled web of secrets hidden within those walls. The discovery of the surveillance room brought new urgency to the investigation. It was clear that Laura's disappearance was no accident, but part of a larger, more dangerous story. Every piece of footage added to the suspense and darkness surrounding the Ramsey house, making it clear that the family's secrets were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. As the detectives pieced together what they had found, the question remained: who was behind the surveillance? Who was the mysterious visitor meeting with Laura's father? And most importantly, what had happened to Laura after she stepped into the basement that final time? The answers seemed just out of reach, locked away in the shadows of the Ramsey house. The secret basement was just the beginning of what the police would uncover beneath the Ramsey house. Following the discovery of the surveillance room, investigators found a small, almost invisible passage hidden behind a loose wall panel. The passage was narrow and dark, winding its way beneath the house toward the nearby river that bordered the property. It was a hidden escape route, one that no one outside the family had known existed. Carefully, officers followed the passage, flashlights casting long shadows on the damp walls. At the end of the tunnel, beneath the floorboards, near the riverbank, they found something chilling: Laura's broken necklace. The delicate chain was snapped, and the pendant was stained with a dark, unknown substance. The discovery sent a cold wave through the team. This was the first physical trace of Laura in weeks, and it suggested that whatever had happened to her was far more sinister than anyone had imagined. The river nearby was shallow and slow-moving, but searching it proved difficult. Days of combing the water and riverbank brought no sign of Laura's body or any other evidence. Yet the presence of her necklace so close to the water hinted at a desperate struggle, or an attempt to hide something quickly and carefully. The discovery also raised questions about who might have used the secret passage. The Ramsey family had clearly built this hidden route for a reason, whether to escape, to hide evidence, or to carry out secret meetings away from prying eyes. The passage was a physical symbol of the lies that surrounded the family, a way to move unseen and unheard. The police expanded their investigation to the river area and surrounding woods, looking for any clues that might connect the passage to Laura's disappearance. They found footprints and signs of recent activity, but no clear direction or final destination. It was as if whoever had used the passage vanished into thin air. Back at the Ramsey house, tensions continued to rise. The family's silence grew heavier, and neighbors whispered about strange noises and flickering lights late at night. Some speculated that the family was trying to cover up the truth, while others feared that more dark secrets might come to light. The broken necklace became a symbol of hope and heartbreak. It was a fragile piece of Laura's life, shattered and stained, much like the family's reputation. Police kept it carefully, hoping it would one day help unlock the final answers. Months passed with no further breakthroughs. The case grew cold, but for those who knew the Ramsey house, the mystery remained alive and haunting. The hidden passage, the surveillance room, and the broken necklace told a story of a family trapped by their own secrets. A story that no one wanted to tell, but that refused to stay hidden. The Ramsey house stood silently on its quiet street, a reminder that beneath peaceful appearances can lie darkness and danger. Laura Ramsey's fate was still unknown, but the search for truth continued. Somewhere in the shadows of the house, the answers waited, waiting to be uncovered. The final twist in the story was this: the secrets of the Ramsey family were not just about money or lies. They were about trust betrayed, about a young girl caught between love and fear, and about the terrible price of secrets kept too long. The Ramsey House of Secrets remained an unsolved mystery, a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers come from within.